Picture this, it's 2015. You're lounging on your couch, scrolling through YouTube when you stumble across a TED Talk. The speaker? Bill Gates. He's up there, calm as ever, warning the world about a disaster waiting to happen. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, he says, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus, not a war. He paints a chilling picture. A pathogen spreading silently, hopping continents, overwhelming hospitals. Sound familiar? It should. 5 years later, COVID-19 proved him right. And here's the kicker. Back then, hardly anyone batted an eye. The video's got a couple million views now, sure, but in 2015, it was just another talk. Meanwhile, Gates was basically handing us a script for 2020, and we didn't even RSVP. But here's the twist. Gates isn't done warning us. He's back at it, saying the next pandemic could dwarf COVID-19, deadlier, faster, more chaotic. And this time, he's not alone. Scientists are nodding along, governments are nervously shuffling papers, even AI systems are flashing red alerts. So why does it feel like we're still sleepwalking into the abyss? Today, we're diving deep into that question. When is the next pandemic? Spoiler. It's closer than you think, and it's not just the same old story the mainstream keeps recycling. This isn't about masks or hand sanitizer shortages. It's about the bigger, weirder, scarier stuff they're not talking about. We're unraveling how pandemics are born, why they're crashing our party more often, and what crazy tools might save us. Or doom us. Oh, and yeah, we'll flirt with some wild conspiracies too, because who doesn't love a good plot twist? So grab a snack, settle in, and let's figure out what's coming for us next. Every good story needs a flashback, right? Let's rewind to 1347. Europe's buzzing, trade's booming, cities are popping up like medieval startups, and then bam! The Black Death slams the brakes. Carried by fleas riding shotgun on rats, this bacterial nightmare wipes out 50 million people, half the continent's population. Entire towns vanish like they've been Thanos snapped. Economies tank so hard you'd think they invented recessions just to describe it. It's a medieval apocalypse, straight out of a horror flick. But it's not just a body count. With so many gone, workers become rare, wages shoot up, and the whole feudal system, lords bossing around peasants, starts to crack. Suddenly, the survivors have leverage. It's a grim trade-off, millions dead, but the ones left standing get a shot at a better life. Fast forward to 1918. World War I's dragging to a close, soldiers are limping home, and a new killer sneaks onto the scene, the Spanish flu. Don't let the name fool you. It's not from Spain. That's just where newspapers could report it without wartime censorship. This virus is a beast. 500 million infected, 50 million dead. It doesn't care about trenches or treaties. It's a global gut punch that hits while the world's already down. Young adults, people in their 20s and 30s drop like flies, which is weird for a flu. It's so bad, they're stacking coffins in the streets. And get this. Some say it messed with the war's endgame. The Treaty of Versailles might have been softer if leaders weren't coughing through negotiations. A pandemic didn't just kill, it rewrote history's fine print. Now, zoom to 2020. You've lived this one. COVID-19 kicks off in a Chinese market, or maybe a lab, depending on who's yelling loudest online, and within months, it's everywhere. Planes stop flying, Zoom becomes your new best friend, and 7 million people don't make it. We're caught off guard again, swearing we'll do better next time, just like we did in 1918, just like they did in 1347. Here's the thread stitching these stories together. Pandemics aren't random lightning strikes. They're shaped by us. How we crowd into cities, jet across oceans, poke at nature until it bites back. History's screaming at us through a megaphone. This keeps happening. So why are we still acting like it's a plot twist? Let's meet the bad guys, the real stars of this show. Viruses are tiny, way too small to spot without a microscope, but they're nature's ultimate hackers. They don't eat, sleep, or binge Netflix. They just slip into your cells, hijack the controls, and turn you into a virus factory until your immune system clocks in or clocks out. Most viruses are small-time crooks, causing a cold or a stomach bug. But the pandemic players? They're the Ocean's 11 of pathogens. To hit the big leagues, they need the perfect trifecta: contagiousness, severity, and a knack for flying under the radar. Think of it like a heist movie. Influenza's the smooth-talking con artist, spreading through a cough or a sneeze, infecting millions before anyone sounds the alarm. Ebola's the muscle, brutal and lethal, but too messy to go global, burning out fast. COVID-19, it's the mastermind, silent, airborne, deadly enough to scare us, but sneaky enough to spread like gossip. But there's a whole rogues gallery waiting in the wings, and these aren't your garden variety germs. Take Nipah virus. It's hiding out in bats across India and Malaysia, with a kill rate up to 75%. That's 3 out of 4 people gone if it catches you. Then there's H7N9, a bird flu that's clocking a 40% fatality rate and loves mutating like it's auditioning for a sci-fi flick. And don't sleep on coronaviruses. SARS scared us in 2003, MERS popped up in 2012, and COVID reminded us this family's got a deep bench. These aren't hypotheticals, they're real threats scientists are tracking right now, pacing in their labs, wondering which one's next. So, where do these creeps come from? Animals mostly, bats, birds, pigs. They're like virus nightclubs, swapping germs like trading cards at a convention. Bats are especially wild, crammed into caves, stressed out, their immune systems churning out pathogens like a viral assembly line. Pigs are mixers, blending bird flu and human flu into new nightmares. Birds just flap around, dropping bugs wherever they land. Scientists call this zoonotic spillover, when a virus jumps from animal to human. I call it nature's revenge for us crashing its party. Cut down a forest for a mall? Bats move closer. Pack a wet market with stressed out critters? Germs start mingling. It's not a question of if, it's when. Now, let's talk about us, because we're the real MVPs of pandemic spread. 100 years ago, a virus took months to cross an ocean, hitching rides on slow boats or tired horses. Today, it's sipping a cocktail on a red-eye from Bangkok to LA before you've finished breakfast. In 2019, 4.7 billion people flew internationally. 4.7 billion chances for a virus to tag along. You land, cough in a crowded airport, and boom, it's off to the races. Planes aren't the only culprits, though. Global trade's in on it, too. A shipping container from Asia doesn't just carry cheap electronics, it can smuggle germs. Remember H1N1 swine flu in 2009? It piggybacked across borders via pork exports and travelers like it had a first-class ticket. Cities make it worse. Half the world, 4 billion people, lives in urban areas now. We're packed in tight, shoulder to shoulder, breathing the same air. It's a virus's dream gig. Spread fast, no travel required. Tokyo's got 37 million people in its metro area. Mumbai's cramming 20 million into a space that feels like a sardine can. One sneeze on a packed train and it's game over. And then there's climate change tossing in a wild card. Warmer temps push animals and their viruses into new territory. Mosquitoes, those tiny bloodsuckers, are buzzing north, carrying Zika and dengue to places that used to be too cold. In 50 years, Canada might be swatting tropical diseases. We're not just inviting the next outbreak, we're rolling out the red carpet and handing it a key. But here's the flip side. All this connectedness could be our ace in the hole. Global networks like the WHO and CDC share data faster than you can refresh X. A lab in Singapore spots a weird mutation, an hour later Atlanta's on it. Vaccines used to take decades. Polio took 20 years to crack. Now, mRNA tech got COVID shots from zero to arms in under 12 months. That's not just fast, that's sci-fi fast. The trick is, can we use this superpower before the next virus beats us to the punch? So, can we see it coming? Scientists are trying, and it's like playing Clue with a blindfold. They've got some slick tools, genomic sequencing that reads a virus's DNA like a barcode, satellite data tracking animal migrations, even AI sniffing out patterns in hospital reports. In January 2020, an AI called Blue Dot flagged COVID-19 9 days before the WHO raised the alarm. It wasn't psychic, it just crunched flight data and news scraps better than any human could. Then there's the Global Virome Project, a $1.2 billion moonshot to catalog every virus and every animal on Earth. Imagine biologists in hazmat suits, swabbing bats in jungles, chasing pigs through farms, building a viral encyclopedia. Crazy? Sure. But if it spots the next big one early, it's worth every penny. Prediction's a dicey game, though. Viruses are shapeshifters, mutating faster than a Marvel villain. A pig flu that's harmless today could tweak one gene tomorrow and start a human horror show. Even if we catch it early, stopping it's a whole different beast. COVID had warning signs. SARS taught us coronaviruses were trouble, and Blue Dot beeped loud. But we still stumbled. Why? Politics bogs things down. Leaders argue over borders while viruses ignore them. Money's tight. PrEP costs billions and no one wants to pay until it's too late. And humans? We're stubborn. Tell us to mask up and half of us turn it into a freedom fight. The crystal ball's there, we just keep dropping it. Alright, time for a detour, let's get weird. You clicked because of Bill Gates, right? Thumbnail bait worked. Let's unpack him and the wild theories swirling around pandemics. Gates has been pounding the pandemic drum for years, dumping billions into vaccine research, health programs, you name it. That 2015 TED Talk, he wasn't joking around, but to some corners of the internet, he's not a philanthropist. He's the puppet master. There's this theory, strap in, that he's orchestrating pandemics for profit or power. Some say vaccines are his Trojan horse to microchip us, track our every move, or thin the herd. Evidence? Pretty much zilch. Just a lot of shouting and some grainy memes. Gates' foundation does make money flow. Drug companies get grants, vaccines get rolled out, but the leap to evil overlord is more Hollywood than reality. Then there's the lab leak buzz. Did COVID-19 slip out of a Wuhan lab? It's not the mainstream take. Most scientists bet on a zoonotic jump like SARS or MERS, but it's not tinfoil hat crazy either. Labs mess up sometimes. In 2004, SARS leaked from a Beijing facility. Twice. In 1977, a flu strain popped up that looked suspiciously like a lab escapee. The Wuhan Institute was studying bat coronaviruses, and safety questions linger. Still, no smoking gun, just a lot of what-ifs. The real kicker? Even if it was a leak, it doesn't mean someone flipped a switch to unleash it. Accidents aren't conspiracies. And here's the wildest one. What if the next pandemic's cooked up on purpose? Bioterrorism's not just a movie trope. Labs can synthesize viruses from scratch now. In 2002, scientists rebuilt polio just to prove they could. Smallpox DNA's floating around in databases. A rogue group with cash and know-how could whip it up. Imagine a superbug designed to dodge vaccines, dropped in a subway. It's dystopian as hell, but not impossible. Experts like the FBI's bioweapons team lose sleep over this stuff. The catch? It's rare. Nature's already too good at brewing killers without humans playing mad scientist. Here's my 2 cents. Conspiracies are a blast to chew on. They're the spicy wings of the internet, but they're a distraction. Gates isn't cackling in a lair. He's just a rich guy who saw this coming. Labs might screw up, but they're not Spectre. The real threat? Us hitting snooze on the alarm clock. That's scarier than any microchip fantasy. Pandemics don't just trash our lungs, they trash everything. Take COVID-19. It torched $16 trillion from the global economy. Airlines went kaput. Delta lost $12 billion in 2020 alone. Restaurants shuttered. That little diner down the street? Probably toast. Supply chains choked so bad we were fist fighting over toilet paper in aisle 5. It wasn't just a health crisis, it was an economic nuke. And the fallout's still settling. Small businesses got crushed while Amazon raked in billions. The rich got richer, the poor got screwed, and inequality didn't just creep up, it blew the doors off. The mental toll's uglier. Lockdowns turned us into hermits. Zoom happy hours don't cut it when you're staring at the same 4 walls. Depression spiked. Studies say it tripled in 2020. Kids got the worst of it, schools shut, friends vanished, and screen time became their whole world. A Harvard study found 1 in 4 teens felt more anxious during COVID. Some lost years of learning they'll never get back. Parents weren't far behind, juggling work and homeschooling while pretending it was fine. And the elderly? Nursing homes turned into isolation chambers. Some didn't see family for months. We weren't just sick, we were breaking. Society cracked too. Trust in leaders? Shot. South Korea nailed it, testing 10,000 people a day. Tracing like pros. New Zealand locked down hard and fast, crushing the curve. But elsewhere, misinformation turned masks into a political football. Wear one, you're a sheep. Skip it, you're a patriot. Leaders bickered while ICUs overflowed. The next pandemic won't just test ventilators, it'll test whether we can still function as a species without imploding. But there's a lifeline. Technology's our secret weapon, and it's leveling up fast. mRNA vaccines, those COVID MVPs, went from a sketch on a napkin to your arm in under a year. That's not normal. That's warp speed. Old school vaccines took decades. Salk spent 7 years on polio. Now we're cooking shots in months. And it's not stopping there. Smartwatches could ping you about a fever before you feel it. Apple's already testing it. Drones might drop meds to your doorstep. Amazon's got prototypes buzzing. In India, they're using facial recognition to track quarantine dodgers. It's not sci-fi, it's now. AI is the real rock star. It's not just crunching numbers, it's designing drugs, mapping spread, even calling BS on viral TikTok myths. Google's DeepMind is folding proteins to crack virus secrets. IBM's Watson is sifting data to spot outbreaks early. Then there's CRISPR gene editing tech that could snip viruses out of existence. Labs are tinkering with it now. Imagine a world where we zap Nipah before it leaves the bat. Or picture this. 3D printers spitting out vaccines in your basement. It's wild, but DARPA's funding it. The catch? Access. If this stuff's locked behind paywalls or borders, it's game over for half the planet. Let's stretch our brains. What's the next pandemic look like? Option 1, a viral monster. Picture a bug with Nipah's 75% kill rate and COVID's ninja-like spread. Tens of millions could die. Hospitals would be war zones, morgues overflowing. What if it targets kids? Pediatric wards collapse, parents panic, schools become ghost towns. Or it mutates too fast. Vaccines can't keep up and we're back to square one. Scientists call these pathogen X scenarios. Not predictions, but possibilities they're sweating over. Option 2, flip the script. What if it's not a virus? Superbugs, bacteria that laugh at antibiotics, are creeping up. MRSA's already a hospital terror, now imagine it going airborne. A bacterial pandemic's slower, weeks to kill, not days, but untreatable. The WHO says antibiotic resistance kills 700,000 a year now. By 2050, it could hit 10 million. No shots, no quick fixes, just a long, grim slog, and we're fueling it, overusing meds, pumping livestock full of drugs. It's a slow-motion train wreck we're steering. Option 3, the human factor. Bioterror's the dark horse. Labs can stitch together smallpox or tweak flu into a Frankenstein bug. In 2011, researchers made H5N1 bird flu more contagious just to see if they could. It worked, and it freaked everyone out. A terrorist cell or rogue state could pull it off. Less sci-fi, more budget and brains. The US spends billions on biodefense, but all it takes is one leak, one nutcase. Nature's deadly enough, we don't need to give it a hand. Here's the X factor, us. COVID showed our range. Neighbors sewing masks, strangers hoarding toilet paper, countries slamming borders shut. New Yorkers clapped for nurses, Floridians threw pool parties. The next one's a mirror. Will we share ventilators or fight over the last can of soup? History says all of the above. In 1918, cities banned spitting to slow the flu. Others held parades and paid the price. We're predictable chaos. So when's it hitting? No one's got a date. Could be 2025, could be 2040. The math says we're overdue. The last century saw 5 big ones: Spanish flu, HIV, SARS, swine flu, COVID. That's one every 20 years, give or take. Scientists eyeball hotspots. Southeast Asia's a petri dish with its markets and jungles. Africa's urban boom is a ticking clock. But it's not a calendar, it's a roulette wheel. Governments need to stockpile masks, meds, cash, and fix health systems that cracked under COVID. Scientists need to hunt viruses like big game, track bats, swab pigs, share data yesterday. You, stay sharp. Stock a kit, masks, canned goods, a flashlight. Get your shots, flu, COVID, whatever's next. Wash your hands like it's 2020 all over again. When it lands, trust the data, not the X-thread screaming hoax. Back to Bill Gates. He's not a prophet or a Bond villain. He's just a nerd with a checkbook who saw the math. Pandemics are nature's reset button, and the batteries are charged. But we've got tools, history's scars, science's gadgets, and that messy, brilliant thing called human grit. The clock's ticking, louder every day, but we've still got time to act. Maybe not much, but enough. Liked this? Smash that like button, share it with a friend who's still got a COVID stash in their garage, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stuff that shapes our world. From pandemics to delivery logistics, we've got you covered. See you next time. Stay curious, and maybe stock up on some extra soup cans.